Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. Claudette Boswell, thank you for being here. Shout out to you this morning. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay-at-home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the Uber driver, the Lyft driver, the taxi driver, cab drivers. They're all the same thing. Delivery drivers, over-the-road truck drivers. Shout out to my brother Troy Star Trucking Vlogs on YouTube. Please go check out Troy's channel and tell him that SouFlo sent you. All right. Big up to the people coming in this morning. All Things Tony Ann, good morning. Sir Alfred Benjamin, good morning. And P Niles 123, good morning. Cynthia Gooden, good morning. Thank you for being here. Listen, got a couple of things to talk about this morning. I've been missing for 2 days. It's hump day. Happy hump day, everybody. Let's get over this hump and get on to the weekend. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. Come on in. We got a couple of stories to talk about. Well, not a couple of stories, but yeah, to talk about this morning. So, missed 2 days. I missed 2 days. I wasn't here for Monday and I wasn't here for Tuesday, but y'all know how that goes already, right? Real life stuff happening, and I have to tend to real life in the meantime. So here we are this morning, and we got to talk about these two Jamaican brothers. So I put up a video yesterday. First of all, let me say it's 2021, 2019, 2020, 2021. Are people still doing sleepovers? Like, who's sending their children to go sleep the night at other people's house? Especially when it's one of those situations where you're sending your daughter over to your girlfriend's house and you know your girlfriend has a boyfriend or a husband, because you know a lot of these big women have boyfriends. That might be the problem too. You're a grown woman calling your man a boyfriend and you're his girlfriend. But there are men in the house. Not that it can't happen female to female as well, but both of these situations are the same thing pretty much. What's shocking to me is both brothers are Jamaican. So we have two people, two Jamaicans at the same time with the same names that are in trouble with the U.S. law because they both live here. One is on the run. Both named Dwayne Gordon. I had to read the story over like 5 different times just to make sure I'm seeing the right thing. I actually left the stories on the screen, on the computer screen, went to bed, woke up this morning and read the stories again and compared the pictures side by side because I'm thinking, I don't want to be doing the story and somebody says, SouFlo, you're blind or what? You know, it's the same story I read with different picture. It's two Jamaican named Dwayne. Hear what? Don't name your picnic them Dwayne no more. Take off Dwayne off it. And if your last name is Gordon, then you might want to change that too. I'm just saying. Dwayne and Dwayne Gordon, both of them Dwayne Gordons. Both first name, both last name the same. Both wanted. So the video is up on the channel about the Dwayne that might be in Jamaica by now at this point. Some people say, SouFlo, why are you saying it's New Jersey? It's not New Jersey. It's some other place. Them say it happened. Thanks for the correction. But at this point, it really don't matter where it happened. It happened somewhere in that area. Some say New York. Some say it's New Jersey. Some say the articles that I've read, the news articles that I've read said what I said in the video because I was before I do my commentary. What I do is I visit multiple sites and compare all stories. All the sites that I read, which are major news sites, all the sites I read said the same thing. Somebody just run with that, right? And then I give my commentary after I go do my own little dig up and see what other information is out there pertaining to the story. So there's a video up that I put up yesterday about one Dwayne from somewhere up in the New York, New Jersey area, Springfield Gardens, Queens. Right. Some people are saying it's Queens, SouFLo's Queens. The articles I'm reading are saying Jersey. They're saying New Jersey. I don't know if his house is in Queens or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is that the details, the intricacy of the detail, that part of the details, I don't think it's that important anymore. What's important now is what he's accused of and why he's running and where he might be heading. Right? So if it happened in Queens, it happened a few days ago. It's been happening for a while. He just got caught a few days ago and he fled the place. Them can't find him, right? This is a man that has a job and his own household. So obviously he's on the run. Law enforcement said that the last signal they got was off of a cell phone that is registered to him in Miami. Miami, like I told y'all before, when I fly out of Miami to go to Jamaica, I live in Florida and I live in this part of Florida. So when I fly out of Miami to go to Jamaica, I am in Jamaica in less than an hour. Not only that, there are many people who have used other means to enter different countries, both like to enter other different countries from leaving out of Jamaica, like going into Haiti, Dominican Republic, all these other countries. People flee to these other countries and people also come into Jamaica, and it's not by airplane. You do the math. Some drug boat, some smuggler boat, some cruise, some whatever. Law enforcement said they last pinged his cell phone. He made a call from Miami. If he's all the way in Miami already, then more than likely he's either waiting to get that go to head into Jamaica, or maybe he's already there. Watch the video from yesterday. You will see that I talked about how the Jamaica media does not show these people's face at a critical time like this. Now is the time when everybody is supposed to be looking for this person, right? Look if you see him at the airport. Look if you see him coming off of a what? You might be coming off of a cruise and you see him getting off the cruise. We supposed to be looking out, but if they do the story and don't print his picture, how are we going to be able to help, right? I see Jamaican people always trying to defend. One person said, SouFLo, maybe the story ran and the Gleaner just didn't, the time when the Gleaner ran the story, the Gleaner just didn't get a picture of him yet because the US had not released a picture of him yet. And that's not true. Because in the same article that you read from the Gleaner, it says it. At the bottom of the article, the Gleaner themselves print this, that the NYPD, which is the New York Police Department, has published pictures of Dwayne Gordon. So if they know that the NYPD published pictures of him, why didn't they take that picture and put it in the article? Other people are saying everybody has a right to do justice under the law, and these are accusations. These are not concrete anything. You're right. These are accusations. Why are you running? These are accusations, but nothing under the law gives you the right to flee. Now, the second Dwayne, his story, pictures were out. Yes, pictures were out. And now Jamaica might be putting pictures out. Other people are saying his pictures are all over social media now, SouFLo. Okay, it's all over social media now, but social media is not mainstream media. Mainstream media are the entities I'm talking about. His pictures weren't there. Now they might be out, which is a good thing. But we had to push that envelope, and we've talked about this before, how that's exactly what they do in Jamaica all the time. They will tell a person, they will tell you where the person worked, what kind of job he had, how much he earns per year, how much picnic you have. They'll tell you everything about the person except for showing their picture. And you're like, okay, how can we help? This is the reason why this thing continues to happen. In case everybody forgot, right? Most recently, remember the guy that killed his nurse girl, his nurse, was she his wife or his girlfriend? She's of African background. Her family and her community raised enough money to get his capture reward money up to $1 million. Yes. And then he was found. They offered money before. Nobody couldn't find him. More money. Nobody couldn't find him. When that thing hit $1 million, they found him immediately. See? And I was saying to myself, like, I wonder if his Jamaican CM police them knew where he was all along, but waited for them to raise the money. They found the guy in Jamaica driving a taxi cab. And he was wanted for a brutal murder of his woman in the US. They found him in Jamaica driving a taxi cab. And it's funny because they had fugitive task force down in Jamaica underground looking. Fugitive task force can look like me. Fugitive task force can be a Jamaican like myself who can switch up the accent, who can infiltrate, who could dep on the ground. Walk around and talk to people like, yeah, mama, just there, visit grandma and them thing there, and that's how the place stay. Yeah, everything good. Well, I'm there doing work. You understand? So they had fugitive task force down there and they caught him. He was there driving a cab. They had been following him in Jamaica for a while before they actually apprehended him. But intelligence led them to him in Jamaica driving a cab, and they followed him around in Jamaica. They said it was hard to catch him because he had multiple women. Multiple women. Women that I guess he was good with the ladies, and he had multiple women that he would stay with. So he would spend one night over Keisha, and then he would have jump by Jasmine for like a 2 day. Then he would go by Simone for next like a day or two. Then he would be over at Stacy for next day. I'm just throwing names out there, but you understand what I'm saying. And I think it was over 5 women, them spread out, and he was able to go different places, and they couldn't find him for a while. But he was in Jamaica though. So when they said that his cell phone pinged in Miami, I thought, yes, he is heading to Jamaica. That's not even a hop, skip, and a jump. That's a hop. One hop and he's there. Most of the time when people get in trouble like this, they normally flee for their comfort zone, somewhere where they know that people are going to hide them and they're still going to be okay. You could run to other countries, but you're running into strange countries where you don't know anybody. So they're going to run home. Auntie, I go hide them down a bush. Grandpa or cousin or whoever, I go make sure so they get them food still. And, you know, they could chill out in the bush and relax and all these things. Come out every now and then slowly when they feel like it. So the new Dwayne, the one I didn't talk about on the other video, is this Dwayne. And Dwayne's story. So I'm going to show his face. This is the new Dwayne. And I'm showing Dwayne's face. This is the new Dwayne. I will leave it up here for about 60 seconds so everybody get a good look at the new Dwayne. Notice the rank on his uniform. This is not no new recruit, okay? This is a significant rank on his uniform. So he serves in the US. It's a military man on active duty. You see those I forgot what we call them on his chest. His ribbons on his chest. And you see that rank on his arm. Okay, I'm going to tell you his story now. His name is also Dwayne, just like the other Dwayne. And they're both in hot water for pretty much the same thing. And this is Lynn Haven, Florida. A command senior chief. That is what his rank is. Okay, in the US Navy. He is a command senior chief. Anyways, this command senior chief serving at the Naval Support Activity City activity, Panama City is accused of sexually abusing a child. How his stuff went down, we're going to talk about all that as well. Dwayne M. Gordon, again, the other one name is Dwayne Gordon. He is 41. This one name is Dwayne Gordon as well, and he's 40. Was arrested this week after the girl told investigators that he molested her multiple times at his Lynn Haven home. Now, according to the arrest affidavit, Gordon encouraged the teenager to sleep in his bed, and then he raped her, and then he molested her. Many questions. Why was this teenager at his home? How was he able to coerce this teenager to sleep in his bed? And they're saying that it happened multiple times. So the first time it happened was she go back again. Right? So you see these kind of stories, like you have to ask the questions like, and I'm very much aware of accusations as well. There's some people out there, they're like, SouFlo, you see how you're quick to run the man picture, what if the man is innocent? Well, if he's innocent, make him go talk to the law, especially like the one that's on the run. If he is innocent, stand up and face your judgment and speak to the law. I'm aware of accusations. I know people are very vindictive out there. I actually know a story of one lady who, she came on a talk show actually, and she was telling how she told her daughters their whole life. Now her daughters are adults now, mid-20s and young 20s, like 25 and below, 20, 21, 22. She had like 3 daughters. And all their growing up, all 3 of them were convinced that they were sexually molested by their father. And that is the reason why mom ended the relationship and keeps them away from him. When she broke her confession and told her children that she made all this up and she stuck to it their entire lives, everybody was crying. Everybody was crying. Because the girls missed out and their father was on the stage. And the mother who did it was asking him, can you forgive me? And he said, no, I cannot forgive you, because for their entire lives, you had everybody looking at me as a child molester, a molester of my own daughters. I wanted nothing more than to raise my daughters, to love my daughters, to be the father I was supposed to be to them. And he was always there and trying to be there. So I am very aware of accusations and how vindictive people can be. So when I post these people's pictures and I tell their story, it is exactly that. I am not judge, jury, and executioner. I am not. I get people that call me, people call me and say, SouFlo, take down my cousin picture. Take down my cousin picture because he never do it, a false accusation. I'll usually ask those people to go FaceTime. Let's go FaceTime. They won't call back. So sometimes it's people that watch the show but just want to be mischievous. Some grown adults who have nothing to do with their time other than disrupt. Sometimes it's really family members. Grandma don't know, say, Dwayne in a them kind of problem here, so we are trying to keep it from her. But grandma watch SouFLoTV. So once him run the picture there, she have to see it. Call SouFlo quick and try get him to take down the picture, please. SouFlo, take down my cousin picture. I know him. I read one story where they said, take my cousin picture down, you have the wrong person up there and all that. My cousin is still very much alive, and this and that. The one that killed the girl and killed himself in front of the police, killed the girl, and the police killed him in Florida here. And I told him, I'm not taking this picture down. If he's still very much alive, tell him call me and tell him FaceTime me on WhatsApp. Me and him can talk. When I look and I see that he is still alive and this story is saying that he's dead from the U.S. government or U.S. major news media, sorry, then I will take his picture down. Then not take down his picture. All right, so this one, This one says that Gordon is charged. This is the Gordon that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Navy officer Gordon. Okay? Him. All right. Got a good look? You don't have to worry about him. He is not on the run. So, because they did arrest him, and there's a little mugshot picture of him. He's in jail uniform right now. He is being held. He is 40 years old, and he was arrested this week after the girl told investigators that he molested her multiple times at his home. And according to the arrest affidavit, he encouraged her to get into his bed, to sleep in his bed. You sleep on that side, and me I go sleep on this side, kind of thing, and then raped her. And he did it. They're saying that this happened multiple times. She was raped. Gordon is charged with sexual battery on a victim between the ages of 12 to 18. And that's how they do it. When they word it, they will say between the ages of 12. They won't give you the specific age of the victim on the arresting. On the arresting, if you look at all the Florida arresting for the sex offenders, it won't say specifically the age. It'll give you the age range. Some of them will say victim below the age of 12. Some will say victim between the age of 12 and 18. So for him, it says between the age of 12 and 18. I'm willing to bet that this person is somewhere, obviously between 12 and 18, but probably like 13. Anyways, the investigation was conducted by the Bay County Sheriff's Office and the Naval Criminal Investigation Services at Naval Support Activity, Panama City. They said that we are aware of the arrest, but we're currently investigating. This is what the Navy has said. We're aware of the arrest. We're currently investigating. Buckles added that the inquiry about the investigation or other information about the case should go through the sheriff's office. Now, according to the Navy, Gordon is from Kingston, Jamaica. And this is how they always put it out there. Anytime I see in the Jamaican news media, Jamaican man wanted for so-and-so, I normally just take some key information from that article and go put it back in the search database and look and get it from the original source. Because for some reason, the Jamaican articles always cut out so much information that I think is valuable, but they cut it out. So anyhow, according to the Navy, Gordon is from Kingston, Jamaica, and he enlisted in the Navy in 1998. Damn, brother man. You've been in the Navy since 1998. We're in 2021. Midway through 2021 almost. And you've been in since 1998 and you jeopardized your career like this? Jeopardized your career like this? According to the Navy, Gordon is from Kingston, Jamaica, and he enlisted in the Navy in 1998. And he is highly decorated, you know. Listen to this. He has served tours of Navy Cyber Defense Operations Command, Expeditionary Combat Readiness Center, Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti, Africa, Provincial Reconstruction Team, Paktika, Afghanistan, Naval Communication Area Master Station, Atlantic Detachment Rota, USS, his list goes on and on of all the places he has served. So he is highly decorated. And the limited information in this, though, that people are asking are the same questions that I'm asking is, how did this teenager end up at his home? Was she entrusted there by somebody who had to work? A lot of you mothers are doing this. Like, me have to go work, me help, me appreciate the little help. I've heard mothers say, me appreciate the little help, you know. At least me know say somebody there with her or somebody is there with him while I go to work. It's rough out here because you have to go to work to pay the bills. But I think you have to be more careful of who you're leaving your children around. It's hard to look at somebody who has served in the Navy for that long and risen in rank, obviously highly trusted, highly respected. If you're going to check background before you leave your kids, that's somebody who you would probably be like, all right, and you've known them for a while too. This person is tried and proven. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But you got to be careful where you're leaving your children, who you're leaving your children with. And that sleepover tradition, something that I'm not for it, none at all. None of my children are sleeping over anywhere. My daughter asked me if they can have a sleepover and her friends can come over here since she can't go to anybody's house. Daddy, can I have a sleepover? I said, no, because you're too young for that. She's only 7. At the time when she asked, she was 6. She said, okay, when I get a little bit older, I said, you will never have a sleepover, baby. You will never have a sleepover. You won't be going to anybody's house to sleep over, and nobody will be coming to your house to sleep over. Yeah, but my mom said, yeah, that's what your mom said, but I'm telling you, you will never have a sleepover. I don't want nobody's kids in my house after certain hours. That's because I want to be around my family after certain hours. I don't want nobody's girls in here or boys in here. And a lot of people, for the first, as soon as they think, like in the comment section, I see people saying stuff like, I don't know what happened to them man here. These men like they're losing their minds. Let me tell y'all something. If you talk to a lot of men out there, they've been exposed to sex and sexual stuff since they were really young, introduced to it by a trusted female that either hung around the family or probably was even a family member that was older. So don't think it's only men do this and men only do this to girls and these men that are touching these little girls or doing this are sick. Don't fall in that box. You get blinded. Enough big women out there do the same thing. Stepmother. You got stepmoms, you got aunties, you got family friends. And people think, oh, just because it's a female, it won't happen. See, like Lulu Ridges says, sexual predators attach themselves to women with young children. That's because you're thinking, yes, and you're probably thinking of a male sexual predator that would attach himself to a woman who is single. I watched a documentary. I think we talked about this before, but I watched a documentary he is called I think it's the world's worst sexual predator or child sex predator. They did an interview with him. I think he has life in prison plus some. They did an interview with him and he sat down and talked about how he would map out who he was going to molest. He said first he would go get an apartment in a low-income area. You know, it's mostly blacks and Hispanics and poor white trash, he said, in these low-income areas. Housing is cheap. Single mothers, they're already struggling financially. So usually they'll move into these areas because they'll get either government assistance to stay there or it is what they can afford to live, low-income areas. So that's at the top of his list. Then he would just sit and he would watch. Like he'll go by the park or he would watch just from his apartment window, watch the playground, and he would see them and he would pick out the kids who were always left behind or the kids who always looked raggedy, like their clothes look messed up. You know, their peers have on clean clothes, new sneakers, it's back to school. Everybody comes out in something new, at least a new pair of shoes, and he would watch and see the kids who came back in old stuff, messed up stuff. The book bag is torn or they don't have a book bag. They carry all their books on their arm. Their shoes look dirty and messed up, old shoes that he's been seeing them wear forever. He would literally make a list of all this stuff and then he would go for his victim. And first he would like befriend the mom and then he would talk to the child on the side. and he would make sure the child gets things. You look like you need a book bag. Buy them a book bag. When last you had a new pair of shoes? Your shoes look terrible. Buy them some new shoes. Probably a name brand shoes, the kind that makes them, you know, get some kind of power amongst their peers. You know your peers say when you're young, yo, them shoes that bad. Where you got those from? Yeah, he'll make sure they get them kind of shoes. He sat and gave a detailed layout. But I want you to know that it's not only men that do this. Women do it too. So in the case of them attaching themselves to single moms, yes, you might be talking about a male predator. Them female predators are out there. Believe me, they're out there. Some man done married a woman and have this woman raising his children with him, and that woman is on his boys or on his boy child from a young age. It happens. It could be somebody who came by the house to help out all the time. Like in some of these places we come from and we live, we have helpers. That's what we call them, right? Domestic workers, helpers. When I was growing up in Jamaica, we had helpers. And they would live at the house. So anyhow, George Plush Creations, good morning. Thank you for being here. George Christopher said, up, morning thoughts, family, manners, and respect. Just checking in. All right, George, and thank you for being here. AJ says, people think people attack people who are attractive, but I know 90% of people who are deformed, cognitive impaired, psychological problems, and they get sexually abused. Actually, those are prime victims to be sexually abused, especially young people that have issues like cognitively impaired or physical disabilities. You know, if you think about young, Brains in the Beat has entered the chat. Majority of Jamaican men first sexual experience are with older women, so that would tell you a lot. Yes, yes. I think I said that before you came in, Brains. Good morning, babe. I think I said that before she came in, but it is a fact, and it's something that's very little talked about. But I don't want to steer that too far that way, but it is a reckoning point to say that. Thank you, George Christopher, George Plush Creations. Damali McLean, good morning. Damali says, I wonder if there are victims in those other countries. Probably, you never know. Probably. I think one of these Dwaynes, though, for him to have been in the Navy that long and be that young, obviously he joined the Navy probably straight out of high school, right? So he probably hasn't had much time to live anywhere else other than where he has been stationed, especially when they give a list of his duty tours. But the other one, in the news articles in the US, all of them say this, and this came from the NYPD, right, from the police department, that he talks with a thick Jamaican accent. Others said a strong Jamaican accent. So maybe he came here not too long ago. But it's important for them to put the pictures out of these people, because then other victims, it probably happened to someone else who never said anything. But now that something is being done, once they see the picture, they can be like, okay, all right, they're telling, so I'm going to step up and tell too what happened to me. He did that, right? And they'll come out as well. Don't hide the picture. Dirty big woman. It's something that we don't even normally talk about. And the funny thing is there's such a stigma attached to that. Because boy picnic said, boy, the woman feel me up and thing, and you know where that's going, right? Especially amongst Jamaican men, other men. Boy, if my son me would have proud. Me would have put on a one pon it too. So if you jump on my son, me would have proud. Your son was molested, bro. Now, man, picnic, go tell big people a boy is likely to hear. So what a problem? Daddy, you know, so she touched me. Don't mess up. I'll do something and something. What a problem? Oh, she peel your banana. She give you headers. I have good experience, man. What a problem? How are you about the man? You know, like, woman, mind, you know, youth, watch it. True, true. Now, we have to use serious thing make joke. But these are the things that are said. These are the things that are said. So boys never normally say anything. But if you talk to us when we're older, you will hear, yes, my first experience was with Miss So-and-so. My first experience was with so-and-so. Let me put it this way. I'm Jamaican. Born in Jamaica. Raised, well, partially raised between US and Jamaica. I can tell you that I have my own story. See? I have my own story. So some of these things when I talk is from a place of been there. Me have my own story. Now God bless the dead. My older cousin, he passed away. Let me see if I can talk about this a little bit. I want to make sure say nobody's life is disrupted. But I have my own story. I was probably about 5, 6. Let me just cut my story short without going into details, right? So a big woman come by the house. My cousin, who was older at the time, was living there. He's a grown man. He's in his 20s at the time. He was probably in his young 20s at the time. 21, 22, them kind of age there, because he just graduated from Clarendon College. And he was up at Knox on the college side. So I gotta have been about 6, 7, probably. I don't know, I'm wandering around the house one day, and you know, when grandma and grandpa gone and them tell if you stay up on that side, when them you're in charge, the older ones are left in charge, and them tell you, yes, everybody stay over there so and do this and do that. I wandered over to the other side of the house, and me see man a deal with woman a certain way. Remember, I know me a little youth, you know. Let's put it like this: the woman that stay right there. My cousin jump off and say, your turn. Go on. Poor little me never know what me I do. Me jump on the big woman. And me I go on with myself, imitating what I saw him doing. So, not to go any further by calling out names and saying these things, but these people are still around today. One passed away, which is my cousin, who actually jumped and said, your turn, go on it and deal with it. But may I tell you that when time you're young in Jamaica, and it is part of the culture for the boys to be like, yo, from a man touch you, dog, everything good enough. From a man touch you, everything good enough. Like that. And if you complain some more, you're about the man. You know, like a man. You understand? So this is real life. It happens. And the woman them are very much in it. But you know, everything get blamed for man. Is the man them alone doing it, and the men are losing their minds, and the women them are do the same thing. We can't take no check. We can't take no check. I'm so paranoid about my children, man. Like paranoid about my kids. Because I know what's out there, and I know how humans are. And true, me no want to use one meat cleaver and like chop up somebody's face or something like that. I try my best to, like, you know, I'm there and I'm overprotective, and that's the way it's going to be. Like I tell people all the time, my oldest, he has never been to even a party. And him just past 18 years old. Just graduated high school. And enough people now are like, yo, SouFlo, you're crazy, or what? 16 man a shell party at night time, man. 17. 18, we get my first youth at 16, 17, 18, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that won't be my kids though. Not if I can help it. So when I say my son hasn't even been to a party, he's never been to a house party, nobody sleepover, not even a backyard party at somebody else's yard. And he's at the age where he should be. Now I want him to go out into the world. Now I want him to go out into the world, but I feel like I have to be there to, like, you know, guide him, because predators are everywhere, man. Everywhere. Now for them little girl here, I've talked to females that, some of those females that act like they're boys and whatnot, I've talked to some of those females, and their first experience was a female. And it was either an older female family member or a family friend, but it was a female. I don't know if the female saw something in her or that's what they're confused with after that. You know, I'm growing up seeing man and woman, but this woman did that to me, and I'm confused. As a kid, you're like, I don't know, what is that, how it's supposed to? And they end up growing up that way and influence that direction. Self-defense class. Oh man. It's interesting. I would like to know how old that girl was though, with the guy that's in the military. Because them said 12 to 18, right? So I know other people are saying, well, if she's 17, then in some countries the legal age of consent is 16. Even some places in the US, some states. So if she's 17, I know some people are gonna try. I'm just saying for argument's sake, I know some people are gonna try to bridge it. But here what? If the girl say I rape, I rape. All right. What I want to know is the backstory. How did she end up at his house? Was he entrusted to babysit, look after, take care of, watch over until parent got back? And if that's the case, it can't be no 17, 16-year-old, because those are kids you can leave at home by themselves. You just tell them, say, don't burn down the house. And that some people tell them, call me before you call the police if anything happens, these kind of things. But 16, you're being, there's 12, 13-year-olds that are being left alone at home. But the act of her getting in his bed and this happening multiple times is what I'm trying to understand, like how that happened. And like I said, I am well aware of accusations, but if she underage, she underage. And there is nothing that's going to justify your interaction with her sexually if she is underage. I don't care if you think she consented or anything like that. It is just she underage. That's where it stopped, right? We just want to know the details of the story. But if it's true, then as long as she is not of legal age, then he is in the wrong. And I would think someone like this, a decorated military veteran, he's been doing this for a while, since 1998. Crazy. Crazy. This is obviously, and this I don't know, old picture. Well, it's an old picture because he's a command senior chief. A command senior chief. You know what I'm saying? Black don't crack on the man, you know, don't look him age and these things, but I put the picture up, you know. Me put them picture up because anybody else out there might be watching this and they're like, yo, Simone told on him. So I'm gonna tell too. Let the courts work it out though. Let the courts work it out. Yeah, he's 41. Well, he is 40. The other one is 41. This is not the same person you might be talking about. For those of you who arrived late, there are two guys. It's two different people. They both are Jamaican. They both live in the US. They both have the same name, and they're both accused of pretty much the same things. One is already in custody. That's the one that's in the military. The other one, that's, I keep saying, is New Jersey, and people are saying no, SouFLo is Queens. That one, he is either on his way to Jamaica or he is in Jamaica already. But according to US media and law enforcement, he is on the run. Okay? That one is on the run. That's the video that I put up yesterday. Let me see if I could pull his picture up for those of you who haven't seen the video. Come and know people work hard and some people went to sleep and didn't see the video. So can't pull his picture up for you. But yes. So it's two different people. That's why I was saying, what a coincidence. Both Jamaican, both have the same names, the same first name and last name. Both are in the US and both are in trouble for the same things at the same time. That's what a coincidence. Rising Phoenix, good morning. Rising Phoenix says, ask your children questions. What the teacher said to you today. Anyone making you uncomfortable, anyone attempt to touch you, do not let anyone but your children buy your children anything without your permission. Yes, that's what that predator dude said. And he said he would buy them kids stuff. Some of them parents didn't even pay attention to the kids. So the kids walk in with new stuff, the parents would never question it. They'll be like, I don't know, the kid probably told the parents that they got it from their friend's mom or something. Their parents never questioned it. I wasn't raised like that. I remember one time I borrowed Garth, is a youth named Garth from out of Sparlings, and we all used to go to Knox. And I borrowed his video game because people them had money, and them used to fly in, and he had all the latest this and that. So he wrap up in video game one day, stuff it. Them time the video game big enough, we are talking about I believe it was like Atari or something. One of them games where you have to blow the thing and push the cartridge in. The man wrap up the whole video game and gave me the whole console. I took that stuff all the way home. My grandmother, as soon as she saw it, that thing went right back. Don't bring nobody nothing in here. Don't take nothing from nobody. That's how I was raised. And I make sure that my kids do the same, right? So I wasn't allowed to take anything. And a lot of parents, they don't pay enough attention to their children to realize that you buy them a flip phone, Miss Joyce. So say, I want iPhone 6, the boy have. What we do with iPhone now? 11, 12? Say the iPhone 12 him have. When get iPhone 12 from, and me can't even afford that. Like, they don't pay attention. They don't pay attention. But yes, you're absolutely right, Rising Phoenix. Don't let people buy your kids anything without you questioning or without your permission first. Even when I used to go places with my grandmother, people would be like, here, little boy, you want this? And giving it to me. My grandmother would flip. But you're bright. Wait. You don't see me standing here. You just give him things like that. My grandmother didn't play. She was just like that. She was just like you. Couldn't take nothing. Don't approach the children without approaching me first, basically. And that's how I was raised. So yeah. And ask your kids, for real. Anybody bullying you? I ask my kids that all the time because I want to know if they're being bullied at school. I want to know if anybody is touching them. I want to know anything. So I just ask them randomly. Even now, like the teenage boys, they'll laugh at me or they'll look. Because they're big. And they think because they're big, like they're almost my height. Right? And again, I'm a 6-footer. So they think they can defend themselves and whatever. And I'm telling my son that, nah, I've seen that we have witnessed over the years young boys get raped. So don't think because you're 14 and 13 and feeling yourself that things can't happen to you, you can't be molested or find yourself messed up situation. So I ask them still. So I'm asking everybody. I'm asking from the baby who can't talk yet. So she grow up knowing that daddy asked these questions. He's been asking that stuff since before I understood what the hell he was asking me. May I ask from the little one who just barely start talk all the way up to those who think they're too big for me to be asking them that question. Saying my sister and I were not allowed to sit in anyone's lap. Black. My mom didn't play. Yep. Same thing with my grandmother. None of the girls, none of us, period, were allowed to sit in anybody's lap. And if we were, it would be me and my cousin them, or me and some, you know, the boys them, you know, when them pack the vehicle them, go up in it, small up yourself. All right, move over the man, yeah man, more space there, man. One more, I will go. That I come from that era. None of the girls were allowed. And growing up in that era, I saw what used to happen when girls used to sit on lap. Some of them perverted man. We were too young to understand though, but we know that something wasn't right. It just didn't look right. Conductor used to always make sure Safim lap reserve or reserved for. I see where they used to put like the older girls up in the front of the bus where she had to put one leg over here and one leg over there and drive and I change gear in between our leg. Yeah. And all that. I saw all that coming up, man. And it stayed with me because I paid special attention to it. And I was like, that's weird. Why them put her up there so in that front tire bus and put her like right there so? I mean, they used to jam pack the vehicle, you know. But still, you could have put somebody else there, or you could have had her sit differently. Even if she was to put both feet upon somebody else's lap, since you're packing up the vehicle already, but you spread out the little girl that come from school, one leg over here, one over there. And they usually did that to the bigger girls. The bigger girls them that we used to think were fast. I look on her, I'm a big man, she looking at that time we little and them bigger and them they're high school already. We done a prep school, but we see what go on. So the females in my household, they weren't allowed to sit in no man lap, no boy lap. They could sit in each other's lap, and if that can't work, then you know, I walk, come home. That's how my grandmother used to say. If that can't work, then I walk where I walk, come home. You know how many times me walk, chop it on the road there, long distance walking, you know. Our vehicle too packed, and we're not allowed to sit. They could fit us, but we're not allowed to. Yeah, that happened coming home from school, especially high school in Jamaica. Yep. I don't know if them do it the same way. Jamaica seems to have changed so much. I don't know what public transportation is like now, but I don't even see the kind of bus them that used to be there when I was in school. Like the big metro bus them, big country bus them with the things them on the top, and you know, people used to fling up them stuff and one man up there catch it and pocket and at their stop them, fling it back down, give them and I don't even see that type of stuff anymore. But them used to ram pack those buses all hand and foot to come through window. And still we were not allowed to sit in anybody's lap. You either gotta stand up or you get your own seat. Your brother can sit down on your lap. If I your brother and you come from the same house, you're not sitting down on no conductor lap. You're not sitting on no strange man lap. Small up yourself, Smalley. You sit down in a Mass James lap. No, not my daughter, not in Mass James lap. Me not cool with Mass James like that. Even in the family, can't sit down on no uncle lap. You heard that? Even in the family, you can't sit down on no uncle lap. I have some of them pervert in their family come hug up your picnic and talk about, yes, Uncle Donnie is here. Uncle Ricky come, baby, all right, and come give Uncle a hug and sit on your uncle, sit on your picnic on them lap. And next thing you know, they're sitting there having a friggin' erection. You have to be careful. So I keep it like even uncle. Don't hug me picnic them too close. You know, a real like family hug and go about your business. That's about as far as it goes. Don't kiss them. And they definitely don't call them and tell them, but come sit down right there, son. No. It's sad though. It's sad though that we can't even enjoy like our family, our people, and because you don't know who is who. Zion Edwards said, "True SouFlo. I got a ride coming home from school, and had was to sit on one of the man lap, and he whined the whole time I was sitting in his lap. I didn't understand what was going on." When you say whine the whole time, you mean he whined like he was whining like how we're complaining whining, or you mean whine like whine up him waist whine? What kind of whine you mean? Zion Edwards. I'm talking to Zion Edwards. George Christopher, George Plush Creations. I appreciate you greatly. Wind up him waist. You see what I say? And then put him to sit on his lap, right? Wow. And in those crowded vehicles, you can't talk about sit down on him knee. Because you have, remember sometimes they used to even sit two people on somebody's lap, like a big grown person would have two small schoolers on their lap. This is how much they used to pack the vehicles up. A big grown person would have two little schoolers upon them lap. They would put like person on top of person. Me see them sit somebody on top of somebody on top of somebody already. You came to realize when you got older. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it happened. I saw it growing up. I saw it. Matter of fact, I'm not going to call their name because these people are still very much around. They're my age group and very active. So I don't want them, like, you know, why you do me like that? But when the girl I'm talking about, that them spread her out, put one leg over here, so on this one, the driver changed gear in between her leg. She got pregnant before she graduated, right? And again, now that might be looked at as, she breed, all right, we have to go. Back then, you breed and you in a school uniform still, everything mash up. Okay, it was a big disgrace for the school back then. It's a big shame for family back then. It was looked at as just totally different, right? She breed, so she was one of the big controversies back then, and I saw it until it happened. Because me used to ask myself, like, why she sit down up there? If I saw them, I go put you on a dress she are wearing up. Now remember the girls them used to wear their school uniform, but they used to wear something under it. What them used to call it? What them call it something when they used to wear under the school uniform? Pantaloons or bloomers or something like that. It's a thing that they made that they wore under it, over their underwear. So it's like a shorts that went with their uniform. So I'm saying you have that on, but still you're a female and you still have a dress on, school uniform. You used to always wonder why she sit up there and let them spread her out like that. Well, she breed. And she breed, and it was for, I believe, the conductor that was on that bus. So, bloomers. Somebody said petticoat. Boy, I never hear that one before. They probably had all kinds of names for it, but a bloomers, I remember it to be. Yeah. But boy, I remember seeing all that though. And she ended up breeding. So as a young youth, I saw she was probably the first that I saw as teenage girl getting pregnant and big ruckus around the spot we live. See? So yeah, man, them perversion, them people, this thing been going on for a long time. And I'm telling you right now, we're almost at the top of the hour. We only got a minute left. But let me close this video today and say this to you. When you think of perverts or child molesters, don't think of men. Think of people. Older children who have been molested or molesting younger children. So stop thinking it's adults only that's doing it. Get that off the board. All right? Hurt people hurt people. And especially if they never got any help and they're hiding it and they're holding stuff in, older children or other children are doing it to children. Matter of fact, when my children are playing, me like to look in and see. Because you will think, my baby is 7 and the little girl she a play with this 7 and them run around at the backyard and play. Next thing you know, your little daughter in a bush somewhere and this little 7-year-old and do some things that your daughter is like, what the hell is happening to me? Because that other child is being molested somewhere else. And now you think it's an innocent play date with your little daughter and her little friend. No, like you gotta really be careful. Strip this all the way back. So when you think of predators and you think of molestation and all that, don't just think men and little girls. All right? It's all kinds of dynamics to this. Man a do it, woman a do it, picnic a do it to picnic. You just gotta be vigilant. You have to be vigilant and stop with this stupid sleepover thing. Where you want people at your house at nighttime for? Me like fart in my house. Although I can't do it loud because it's disgusting, I think. But I might do it sometime and bust a laugh. I like to, what if I want to take off my clothes and just walk around in my boxers alone and go to my fridge in the middle of the night and these kind of things. I don't want nobody in my house and I don't want nobody's child in my house. I'm always weirded out, creeped out by, and y'all might be good people and you have your best intentions, wishes at heart. But I'm always kind of leery of people who want bring your little friends over. Like, for what? Bring your little friends over. You can have a sleepover and y'all can spend the night. And for what? That's too much responsibility. That's too much responsibility and too much can go wrong. Right? Well, if that's all, but be on the lookout for these two faces. Go check the other video that I put up and see that dude and his story. And like I said, he's probably in Jamaica by now. I don't want him in Jamaica driving a cab for a whole couple of years, molesting off other people picnic before they catch him. And like somebody said, everybody is due to their process under the law. Yes. Well, tell him stop running. Go be processed under the law. If it's an accusation, deal with it, whatever. How them say? Granny said, if you never go on the fall rules, the fall couldn't shit on you. I'm going to leave it right there. All right. Big up to each and every one of you, man. Thank you for being here. And I'll definitely be on for the rest of the week. I'll make a commitment to you to be here tomorrow morning, which is Thursday. And when we say it's the freaking weekend, man, on Friday morning. Happy hump day to each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day. And again, be vigilant, especially where those children are concerned. All right? Look out for them two-faced, well, the other one. If you see that face, especially my Florida people, because law enforcement says he is here. That's where they last tracked him to. So if you want to see the face, you already know what to do. All right? I'm out. Peace.